Hi, it's Lauren from the Bedford Village Flower Shop. So glad you could join us again. Today we're going to do a winter-themed handheld bouquet with some beautiful flowers. We've got a beautiful white mondial rose, this Duchess de Nemours, and if anyone has better pronunciation, let me know. Peony. We have this incredible cochia. We have this leucadendron Mimosa Cape Green. Also some beautiful spray roses, just to add some nice texture and build out our bouquet. We have this Mariola Incana, which is also known as stock. Beautiful, wonderful fragrance. Ornithogalum, another, like, anyone that wants to help with pronunciation. Ornithogalum.
That's what I said.
Also known as Star of Bethlehem. We have Brunia, Silver Brunia. We have a mixture of foliage, including some leather leaf ferns, some salal tips, a little pittosporum, some eucalyptus, and then we have this gorgeous winter staple magnolia leaves. And I'm going to start by cleaning all of my flowers so that I can get them all ready so they can just go right into the hand-tie bouquet. All right, hey there. So I've gone ahead and I've cleaned up all of my flowers so they are ready to be assembled into a hand-tie bouquet. I'm going to start out with foliage and flower in the center of the bouquet, and I'm going to build out from there. So the first thing I'm going to use is my Mariola, that's stock, with that beautiful fragrance. This is a line flower, so it's really good to start with this in the center of your bouquet. And then I'm going to bring in some beautiful foliage, this magnolia foliage. And then I'm just going to go ahead and start pairing it with some of our silvers. Bring in some of that cochia. And then bulk it out a little bit with some of this beautiful spray rose. I want to bring in some more of that foliage to make sure everything stays nice and balanced. Bring in some eucalyptus. And this wonderful ornithal. Say it, honey.
How do you say it?
I just told you to say it.
It's so many syllables.
It does. Ornithalagum, but we're going to go with Star of Bethlehem for the reasons of this video.
So it's not Veronica?
It is not Veronica.
Because that's what we all guessed yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Sasha and I were like, I said it was Veronica. Sasha was like, that is not Veronica. Like, well, the list says it is.
Yes, the list did. This is my stuff for Veronica. That was good. That was good. This gorgeous leucadendron, I want to bring that in and make sure that I've got that. It's a beautiful pairing with the magnolia leaf, as far as the, back to the magnolia leaf, having that suede brown, and the leucadendron having some of that color in there too. So really, really pretty in there. I want to come in with some of our fern, really get that foliage and texture in there. Peonies are always star of the show, so they need to be incorporated into the center. This is just a hand tie. It has some spiral tendencies to it, but it's not a traditional spiral bouquet. And it'll come together. It'll still come together really nicely because it doesn't have to go into a vase. It's not as important for it to be a spiral. And no matter what bouquet you do, always spin it. If it's a spiral, if it's just a handheld, spin it in your hands. It's the easiest way for you to see what's actually going on in the bouquet and make sure that it is a nice, steady hand tie. So this is the line flower, the Mariola, and it's a line flower because it literally is in the shape of a line. A rose could be considered a line flower because it's straight, but the purpose of a rose is to have a face. So this is your base flower, whereas the Mariola, the line flower, this whole thing is used. And what it does is it creates literally lines that you can see through the arrangement. So you know that this line is going to be more or less a radial line through the arrangement, and it's going to have an endpoint diagonal from where it starts.
Now, when you're making a bouquet like this, how do you know how full you want it? Like, when your stopping point is?
Great question. I really do it based on the person that's going to be carrying it. If I'm doing a bridal bouquet, and if they're of a petite stature, I don't want anything that's over the top that's going to overwhelm them as a person. That's for bridal bouquets. If I'm doing something that, you know, someone walks in and they just want something that's going to be an outstanding display of flowers that someone can drop into a vase, then that has a little bit more to do with what the occasion is, what the sentiment is that they're trying to express, and then I kind of build the bouquet from there.
Probably where they're going to put it too.
I was just going to say, yeah, the room plays a big part in it. If it's going in a center hall foyer, we want this to be a big, stunning display. For this particular arrangement, I'm envisioning something that's a little bit easier to hold. You know, that can be, that a petite person can hold, someone of a little bit more stature can hold, and it can be nice and comfortable without being overwhelming. I think it's very important to have a balance of the greens against the flower, especially in the winter. You know, what we see outside when we're driving around and going out for a walk, taking the dog for a walk, is you see green with all the evergreen trees that we have. So I think it's really important to incorporate that in your textures for the winter. And when we have snowy winters, that's what you see, is the green against the white snow backdrop, which is just beautiful. Even more fun with hot chocolate and a toddler that likes to build snow forts.
So you're ultimately building it from the inside out.
Exactly.
And you're more or less wrapping the flowers around the center of the bouquet.
Yes.
And that's why there's that spiral.
Yeah, it's funny because the question was originally asked, what kind of hand tie am I doing? And I said, it's not a traditional hand tie. And lo and behold, I'm more or less a traditional hand tie, spiral hand tie. I can't help myself.
What was the project in your certification? Your master certification, you had to
15 minutes to make a hand tie with flowers you had never seen before, nor had any idea of what they were going to be, and you have 15 minutes to put it into a spiral hand tie or a hand tie. The color composition had to be right, and then it had to stand on its own with only 20% being out of water.
only 20% being out of water.
Yeah. So if it stood on the table by itself, that's fine. But then when it goes into water, 80% of the stems have to be submerged in water.
Okay. And then you got graded on that, right?
Yes. I love doing arrangements like this, but I do want everyone to stay tuned for when I do a hybrid bouquet, which is wire and stems. As for bridal bouquets, I feel that that's more comfortable for the bride to carry, because when you wire stems, this is not so thick. I don't feel that every single stem needs to be wired, but to have some wired makes a huge, huge difference.
I also, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is a nice, like, I'm stopping by to pick up flowers for our anniversary or someone's special birthday, and if you don't want to bring it home in a vase, you could bring it home like this, wrapped.
Correct.
If you have a bunch of vases at home, you can just drop it into something.
That nice salal tip to finish it off.
I guess the answer to your question is, you know you're done when you can't hold the flowers together
Yeah.
anymore.
So there's a trick to that too. And there's a way to tape it as you go so that you can go as big as you want.
Do you ever feel like you have to use every flower, or?
No, I'll leave some. Like, I'm not going to use all these spray roses. I really do feel like, you know, every artist puts their medium in front of them and uses what they feel is most appropriate to achieve the vision. One other thing that we do that's really important is check in the mirror.